Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for having me here today. My name is Jarrett. I am the North American Account Executive for PlayStation and Crackle. I am very excited to be talking about a platform that I am both avidly a fan of and also a hardcore advocate for, and that is the gaming ecosystem and specifically the PlayStation Network platform. As we go into it, I wanted to give you a quick overview of just what the gaming ecosystem and landscape looks like here in North America. 155 million people are gamers, right? And when we talk about the gaming experience and specifically on the console part of that, 51% of actually the U.S. population are console gamers. They have some type of console in the household, be it a PS3, a PS4, or some competitor bots in the marketplace. It's also important to note that as these generations have changed and evolved, that we are now currently in the 8th generation of consoles, they've come to be a lot more than just a gaming device. As you can see here, a large percent of audiences are spending time outside of gaming doing things like watching movies, TV shows, music, really using it as an entertainment hub. And also when we break down, we look at kind of how many hours are spent actually gaming. About 42% of Americans actually play games regularly, about 3.5 hours per day on average. By show of hands, how many folks in the room have some type of gaming console in the household? Okay, some hands raised. What about folks play games casually, maybe online or social through mobile? Okay, so as you can see, the landscape of gaming is continuing to evolve, but we really want to touch into how the gaming landscape really focuses on the console market. Really quick note before I go over, I do want to talk about this 8th generation, really top line before we dive in, and say that we are happy as a PlayStation platform to be the leading #1, actually global gaming brand across the world. So in the 8th generation, we actually are beating Xbox, Nintendo with their platforms by far here in the U.S. as well as globally. Again, as you can see the numbers here. This generation is completely being led by PlayStation, and we're very excited to do that. I'm going to go over to a quick video that just recaps the PlayStation ecosystem and experience, and then we'll dive deeper into what it is to have a PlayStation console. Awesome. So I hope you guys are excited and love that video. What I wanted to do is kind of take a step back and really talk about the PlayStation ecosystem. Going from the 5th generation with PlayStation 1 to the 6th generation PS2, 7th generation PS3, a lot of changes happened, even just on these 3 markets. You look at, we launched PlayStation 1 in 1995. I'm sure a lot of you folks in the room were doing a lot of different things in 95, likely in high school or middle school. But when you look at that, it was one of the first generations to really take advantage of the compact disc, or CD, as you might know it. What that allowed us to do, and what our software partners to do, is create gaming experiences to produce to the masses on far more efficient software vehicles. Again, that compact disc was a lot cheaper to produce than it was these kind of cartridges that were the generations before, the Nintendos, if you will, Segas, things like that. So that was really started the boom of these kind of faster, more efficient ways to create software. You look at what that did from a market perspective. Over 100 million consoles sold for the PS1. One of the first consoles to actually, or the first console to ever reach that milestone. So you think about it, that was really the boom of gaming being something that was more than just a passive vehicle, something that people were going to be excited about, entertained with, spend multiple experiences with. I mean, I'll never forget playing Final Fantasy VII for 50, 60 hours, to get completion on that. And that, again, was a generation of consoles that really started that. And the idea of being able to save your gameplay really started there too, where you can jump into an experience, have something like a memory card that records that data, and then come back to it, right? Before that, think about the Marios of the world or the Sonics. You end the game, and then that's it, right? When you die, the game's over. And that really was a generation to take advantage of that. We jump into PS2, and again, the 6th generation of consoles, and what we introduced there that was completely phenomenal is the DVD. With the introduction of DVD, we started seeing consoles move from the basement or the kids' room into the main living room. It became almost an entertainment experience because you could then start to play DVDs. And one of the things to talk about that's really important in that generation is you started seeing us introduce, start us introducing technology and products that had multiple uses, right? Again, we had a DVD player built in, but not just that it had multiple uses, the price point of the device was far more efficient for the family. So it looked like you can buy a DVD player for $300 or a PS2 that has this added benefit of being a gaming console. That's when we started to have new introductions to the marketplace and create something that really fit that family model with needing to do multiple things. And in turn, 150 million PS2 sold to date globally, over 50 million of those consoles in the US. So as you can see, our strategy of introducing something more and having more utility really worked for us with the PS2. We continued that into the 7th generation with PS3. And what we did there is introduce a few new technologies, one being the Blu-ray disc. I don't know if you guys will remember, but back in 05, 06, there was this big segment on who's going to win the HD entertainment experience. Will it be Blu-ray or HD DVD? Let alone Blu-ray is the winner. Most people don't even know what HD DVD is today. But the cool thing to talk about there is not only did we introduce Blu-ray, which high fidelity gaming experiences, 5.1 surround sound systems. Now you're really producing something that could be the centerpiece in an entertainment experience, right? And have the whole family participate in. What we also did was create things that actually you can extend the content outside of gaming. Now you have this menu system or dashboard, if you will, that can download applications like Netflix or others. Now you have the interface where you're doing a lot more than just the gaming experience. And you'll see as we segue into the current generation, Generation 8, we really continued that and even blew it out the water even further than that. PS3 is also the first generation that actually had Wi-Fi enabled. When you think about it, before 2005, 2006, Wi-Fi didn't even exist, which I'm aging myself now. When you think about that, being able to have updates for your games, the less bugs that was introduced for games, and software, needing that physical software started to really, physical hardware really started to deteriorate because now you can have updates and start doing things like digital downloads, albeit because of the Wi-Fi internet connections, and then really kind of getting the market to go to a place where more bandwidth and accessibility content would have to increase. As we go over to the next generation, Generation 8, and the current generation of the consoles, we've seen a lot of tremendous changes here. Over 22 million of PS4 sold globally. Again, we are, as I said on the first slide, the #1 leader when it comes to this current generation. We are very excited to where we are in the marketplace. But what I want to do is talk about, and not only are we beating Xbox, but what I want to talk about is some of the other changes really made to this current generation. I mentioned from Generation 6 to now, we wanted to continue to make these a part of the entertainment experience and part of that living room experience. And now what you have are things like Blu-ray discs. You have also applications like Spotify coming on board, millions of downloads in a very short period of time, launching our Spotify app, HBO Go, other apps as well, from Voodoo to our partners at Funimation, NBA. Again, these experiences are now our entertainment hub. But not only are we doing that, we're also making the gaming experience extend beyond the wall barriers of just the connected ecosystem of PlayStation. Now, with the share functionality, you can instantly hit the button on the remote control and now extend your gaming experiences to your friends on Facebook or Twitter, or actually stream your content to Twitch. So now the idea of taking, I mentioned one of my passion points in Final Fantasy VII, spending that 40, 50 hours. Now I can actually share that experience with my friends and show them truly, what it's like to dive into a piece of content. And that's really what we wanted to do. We wanted to allow gamers to be voices of the world for the gaming industry and allow them to share their content with their friends no matter where they are. And we've seen millions of these hours of content being shared. Platforms like Twitch and Ustream are created just for a place for gamers to vocalize and also share their content with other friends. So this is definitely a picture of what that ecosystem looks like in landscape, and definitely more things to come with Project Morpheus and VR taking over for 2016. As we go to the next slide, I want to talk to you quickly about some of the software that's really leading the charge for PlayStation. There's two ways that we create and partner with our software titles. One, exclusive games. These are games produced by our first-party studios that will be exclusive to PlayStation only. If you want to play God of War, or you're interested in Uncharted, which is one of my favorites, or Ratchet & Clank, the only way to access that content is with a PlayStation console. The other way we're doing this, though, is through our first-to-player and exclusive relationship with our third-party title. So you'll see commercials like for Destiny or for other titles that have exclusive opportunities that you can only get on PlayStation, right? Those commercials that end with best on PlayStation or first access on PlayStation. And we're creating great partnerships from Destiny to Call of Duty, as I mentioned. These are No Man's Sky. These are partners that we said, hey, we believe in this title, we believe in this software, let's create a co-partnership so that where you're marketing, we're marketing, and producing exclusive opportunities for the PlayStation console. And you can see our content span the gamut from a more kid-friendly content like Ratchet & Clank all the way through the gamut to a little more adult content like Call of Duty. We definitely have content for everyone on our platform. As we go over to the next, I want to talk really briefly about what the ecosystem of PlayStation looks like and all different types of content. There's two ways to access our platform from an advertising perspective and where our users are going. It's the PlayStation Store. The PlayStation Store is a billion-dollar ecosystem for us where people are going to purchase movies, TV shows, and video games. I mentioned before in 2000 with our Generation 7 console and the PS3, it was the first time we created something like a store ecosystem, but we were still testing it out. And I think it was the start of the market for digital commerce for gaming experiences. And now we're actually the #2 purchase place for PlayStation games, right just behind GameStop. People are now, because of the internet speeds and connectivity and Wi-Fi enabled devices, if you want to play a game, you don't have to go out to GameStop at 9 o'clock at night to engage with it. You can get it right there through the PlayStation Store. PlayStation Vue is a platform we actually just launched a few months ago. We're right now available in 5 markets. A completely live streaming TV service we'll dive into a little bit later. Amazing content, amazing experience for our users. As you can see, PlayStation Music, PlayStation Plus, and PlayStation Now, all services available exclusively through the PlayStation console. I want to talk really quickly about the experiences on PlayStation as well as the behaviors in our users and what our true reach is. We have about 60 million active PlayStation Network accounts. That means someone who's taken home a PlayStation device and actually logged in with that device. They've given us their age, their gender, as well as their email address to be able to connect to the internet service through their console. Why they're doing that, I mentioned it earlier, because software needs to be shipped so quickly. With the ability to connect to the internet, actually about 92% of all these devices are connected to the internet. Our software partners can actually release what they call day one updates the day a game comes out. So if there's bugs or things caught late, the day one update will catch all those bugs, and again, you need to be connected to do that. And I think that's one of the major reasons why we have such a high connectivity rate today. Also, a really quick look at our user who's on our platform. Average age is about 26. We do skew heavily male, 84% male, as you'd imagine in a gaming ecosystem, where a lot of our content caters to the male audience. Though female inclusive, we do have a few female gamers in the room. I also would like to say that our age, actually, we truly hit that millennial audience. If you're looking to reach the millennial demographic, gaming is definitely a great way to do that. And as you can see, 71% of our whole footprint is right within that sweet spot for who you're looking to reach. Just from a scale perspective on how much time is actually spent on our console, as you can see here, 18 hours per week is spent on our console. It breaks down to about 6.5 hours that I spent actually gaming, which makes sense, right? What they're buying the consoles for. But as I mentioned, as we introduce the idea that your consoles do more, you can see 2.6 hours actually spent watching Blu-rays. Again, one of the reasons why we actually added that. 2.7 hours is spent actually streaming some type of movie or TV show, and then actually another hour with the addition of Spotify and PlayStation Music is spent actually watching music content. So as you can see, we are well aware that these are entertainment devices, albeit our communication specifically to the gaming side of things. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I cannot hammer home this enough. We've seen tremendous growth year over year with the PlayStation sales on our platform. Again, $1 billion ecosystem for us. We are the #2 place for PlayStation game purchases compared to digital purchases and hardware purchases. Again, our software is the second way to do that. And again, what we're seeing is that people are, love downloading games. They want instant access to content. The great things about that, you can actually download, play while you download. You can actually get day one access to things, midnight releases, so you don't have to worry about, being late and getting content the day after. You have the instant access with the PlayStation platform and PlayStation Network. I want to show you guys a quick video just of what the experience looks like for PlayStation when you log into the console, kind of what that user flow and experience is. It goes through all the different things I mentioned before, the PlayStation Store, PlayStation Network, and shows how users interact with our platform. Great. Hope you guys like that video. Again, it gives you a great flow for how the user experience is, and I think one thing that I take away from it so much is that how seamless everything is, right? I'm going into things like advertising, getting messages from my friends, jumping into a game experience, jumping back to the store to purchase a film or piece of content, or engage in a branded video, and all that's a very seamless experience now in this current generation. One of the great things that we highlight in that video is just what our advertising solutions look like. Again, large, impactful experiences. We focus on big things that are designed for a 42+ inch screen. That's what we really focus on. As you can see from those ad units, 520 by 790 is one of our smallest units, going all the way up to 1920 by 1080. Full impactful screens, again made for the size of this screen, and all completely native. Right, they're built for that larger screen. But we did a quick study. Just talk about the slide for a second, and found that our native ads, the ones that are built for the TV screen, are just more receptive. Right, people pay more attention to them. They're built for that screen. As you saw in that video caption, we walked through things like Nike Air Jordan, and some even our entertainment partners, why they work with us is just because of the impact of what that impression really does on our PlayStation user. As you can see, they really pay attention to it, and they like engaging with their ads. I'm going to go into some of the solutions we have available. There's a few different ways to partner with us. Again, we're the #1 gaming platform in the world. Our solutions go from video advertising integration directly into things like our store. You saw the example in that video of Nike Air Jordan. They actually had we provided them with a listing right on the navigation arc of our store. People are looking for videos, movies, TV shows. Oh, I'm actually encountering some brand entertainment content from Air Jordan. Again, a great way to generate millions of views integrated directly into our content. We also are producing original content. This year, we actually launched 2 original shows. The first being Powers, our first scripted TV drama based upon an award-winning graphic novel series. Did phenomenal for us. We greenlit season 2 for next year. We also launched Conversation with Creators, an amazing show with Will Wheaton that we launched where he actually interviews and sits down with top gaming developers to talk about their upcoming software. Great partnerships there as well, and brands coming in to kind of be a part of that endemic experience. The second is our live TV network with PlayStation View. Just launched back in March of this year, currently live in 5 markets: New York, Chicago, Philly, San Fran, and LA. It's doing phenomenal for us, beating out our benchmarks in number of subs. Completely over-the-top streaming TV service. If you don't want to pay Comcast or Time Warner or Verizon Fios anymore for cable, you can get your content directly through PlayStation View. I'm sure you've seen the commercials for PlayStation View already. It's amazing from that content experience and what you can get there. And also our live events. Our live events are a great way to partner with us. We actually tap into live streams for our major events, be it E3 or even PlayStation Experience coming up later December of this year. For all the folks who can't make it out to San Francisco or Los Angeles for one of those events, we actually will live stream that directly back to the console and allow folks at home to actually tap into that stream and watch that content. Just last June, when we actually launched our E3 experience, we had over 600,000 people tap into that stream. Just eyeballs that you can be reached with your impressions and your video content. So that's definitely a great way to work with us. I'm going to briefly talk about some of the native ad solutions that we have, just to go over their capabilities and the benefit in working with us. The first is the PlayStation What's New screen. To talk about the What's New, think of it as our homepage, our hub, the main place you see when you turn on your console, right? As soon as it pops on, before any gameplay or anything else, you land right into the What's New. The great thing about the What's New, specifically on PS4, is that it's a social feed. If you think about this current generation, think back to the 7th generation, in between that 2006 launch to now, what are some of the things that really boomed? Yeah, social media. Social media is one of the biggest things that happened, and if you think about it, something like the What's New on PS4 couldn't have existed before because the technology and experience just never was there. And now you go to the What's New on PS4 and you'll see it's truly a news feed or a social feed of things your friends are doing on the platform. Games they've played, apps or experiences they've downloaded, content they've watched, brands they've interacted with. So again, you can see it's an organic way to recommend content through the What's New. We also have native advertising solutions there where you can really reach these users. Click into things like video and a mini branded experience. Click to what we call a product page if you want to have more content hosted there, or click to maybe download some type of asset we work together to produce. Or, which all of our entertainment partners love, click to a URL. Maybe it's to purchase tickets or access more of your content you have through web, all accessible through that unit on the PS4. Going into PS3, the What's New screen there, again, you're thinking about that 2006 mentality, is really a place where people are finding what's new, what's hot, what's available on the platform. Less social, but things that they would be interested in to check out. That can do very similar functionalities, that banner there. Click to video or click to store, or it can also click to URL as well. So that's really the focal point for the PS3 What's New unit. Going over to one of our most, if not the most impactful unit we have on our platform is the Welcome Takeover, or the Welcome Roadblock, if you will. The great thing about that is anyone going to our store, again, that billion-dollar ecosystem generates over 20 million impressions on a weekly basis. Can actually see your skin with this takeover. Think of it like a home page takeover on desktop, albeit a little bit more impactful because, again, we're monitoring to larger screen. 1920 by 1080, available video units, big, impactful units here. And as you can see, our entertainment partners love it just because of the sheer impact and reach you get from this unit on a weekly basis. Jumping over to some of our other units here, we have these 520 by 790 units that are great just for awareness and also video views. You can see partners like Pop Secret love these units because they get great video and click to engagement units. Going over to one of the most important units we love here is, especially for engagement, is the branded storyline. The great thing about the branded storyline is that you have multiple screens to tell your brand's story, and that's truly why we called it a storyline, because as you see here with Nike Air Jordan, multiple 3 screens that are 1920 by 1080. As soon as someone goes over to the store, we provide you with listing directly on the navigation arc of the store during your flight. They can engage with your brand and immerse themselves into this brand experience. Again, multiple screens to do that. Tons of solutions. We have over 100 different templates with video, static, imagery, text, all the great things that you want to get out and all the KPIs you'll have for your brands can be viewed directly through the branding storyline. Last but not least, I want to go into one of the great things we have here to roadblock certain sections throughout our store that's relevant to your brand, especially for the endemic partners here. These are the things you'll really like. Things like new games. So if you have a new game coming out, that launch week, the new game section of Roadblock is one of the most impactful things we can do. Also works for entertainment partners or some of our non-endemic partners that are producing brand entertainment content, because you position your brand right where people are looking for new things to check out and watch. A little more efficient than from a cost perspective than a Welcome Roadblock, but obviously generates a little bit less impressions there. Also, what we really love is the category roadblocks. This allows our partners to be uber relevant and where they advertise. So if you're an indie game, you're interested in providing kind of sponsorship of an indie section, or if you're producing a new piece of digital content, you really want to be in the digital space of our store, that's what's great about the category roadblock. It allows you to own those units directly there. Last but not least, some of our ROS units kind of are great ways to supplement media and get your a little bit more engagement and extend your program. These can run throughout our store, as you can see here. 520 by 790 units, as well as kind of those banner takeovers will appear throughout the entire store. I mentioned earlier that we had capabilities to do live streams. That's definitely something that we're continuing to offer. We saw extreme success from our E3 live stream this year. Looking forward to PlayStation Experience later this year, and all that's available through the live event viewer. An amazing experience. We've worked with UFC for years on providing this experience, and now we're doing it for free type of events as well. And again, we're seeing great success through it. What we also have are things like our PS Store, PS3 Store, our service UI. These are all supplementary screens and places that we can place your brand that, again, are just a great ways to also advertise and extend the duration of your program. Available not only in the US, but LATAM in Canada as well. The last thing I want to talk about is just really touch over PlayStation Vue. I mentioned this a little bit earlier on. Again, our full live streaming TV service, again, in live in 5 markets, beating all our benchmarks of what we expected to be from a subscription perspective. But if you take a look at what this experience really is, it's truly like nothing else we have in the market right now. From a storage capacity, it's completely streaming, right? So the idea of reaching your DVR limit or recording too many shows is a thing of the past. You can actually record as many pieces of programming as you want at a given time and then watch that back at your leisure. You have 28 days to actually do that. So again, the bandwidth of content is completely limitless. Our Explore and search functionalities are by far the best in the marketplace. We really built a place for the next generation of television content. I want to show you guys a quick video of just what PlayStation Vue looks like and take you into depth of what that experience is, because I'm, as a PlayStation Vue user, I actually haven't paid Time Warner in months since I've actually had access to my PlayStation Vue. And I'm very happy and excited about this experience, and I hope you guys can come on and do some advertising as well into the PlayStation Vue experience. Cool. Hope you guys like that video. I'm very happy to be here and talk with you. Love to take some questions. That is an overview of the PlayStation experience. Thanks for your time.